For anyone out there who creates, you know the pressure is always on to just do more, right? To write more, to produce more. But what if I told you the most important part of the creative process isn't the work you can see? What if it's actually the time you spend waiting? It sounds crazy, but let's dive into it. This quote right here, this is the heart of the whole thing. Writing a scenario is a waiting as long as the story itself. It suggests the real work isn't about frantically typing away, but about a patient, deliberate kind of waiting. So what does that actually mean? To get it, we need to start with a mistake that almost all of us have made. Okay, let's talk about rushing. You know that feeling, right? Especially when you're starting a new project. There's this incredible pressure to be productive, to be fast. You just want to see those words piling up on the page because you think that speed equals progress. But here's the thing. That belief is a trap, a really painful one. And look at this. This is so raw and honest. This isn't some abstract theory. It's a real confession. The writer felt this powerful sense of impatience, a deep desire to just get the screenplay done and get it done fast. Nobody was making them do it, but that pressure from the inside, it was huge. And we're not talking about a bad week here. This wasn't a short-lived thing. This timeline shows a 4-year period of just grinding away. Between 2007 and 2010, the writer cranked out 5 complete feature-length screenplays, all of them driven by that same urgent need for speed. So, what was the outcome of all that frantic work? Exactly what you'd think. The screenplays were, in the writer's own words, a complete mess. And what's worse, it created this vicious cycle. You rush a script, it turns out bad, you feel frustrated, and then you rush right into the next one to try and fix it, just repeating the exact same mistake. But you know, after 4 years and 5 failed scripts, something finally clicked. And it wasn't some sudden bolt of lightning. Now, this was a lesson learned the hard way, by hitting a wall over and over and over again. So what was the big change? It was only at the very end of this long, frustrating process on that 5th screenplay that the truth finally sank in. The writer realized that the craft of writing just doesn't work on a rushed schedule. It's a totally different kind of work. And this definition just nails that new understanding. Screenwriting isn't just filling up pages. It's crafting an experience with the precision of a single second. And to get there, you need depth. You need what the source calls a profound, heavy patience. You've got to give the ideas time to really mature. So this brings us to the really crucial idea, the true meaning of waiting. But let's be super clear. Waiting does not mean sitting around doing nothing, hoping for inspiration to strike. Nope. It's actually the complete opposite. It's the most active part of the entire process. I mean, it's a fair question, right? When a writer is in this so-called waiting phase, are they just procrastinating? Are they being lazy? The answer is a huge, emphatic no. This is what's actually happening during that time. This is the real work. You're getting all your elements ready. You're researching the world of the story. You're getting to know your characters so well they feel like real people. You're building the plot structure. You're basically absorbing the story until it's a part of you.
Just think about that for a second. The most important work, the heavy lifting that makes a story actually work, it all happens away from the keyboard. It's like the invisible foundation that holds the entire building up. Without it, the whole thing just collapses.
So, if all of that preparation is the bulk of the work, how much time is actually left for the part we see? Well, the source gives us a number, and it might just shock you. 10%. That's the punchline. The physical act of typing out the script, the part everyone calls writing, is less than 10% of the whole job. It's just the final visible tip of a massive iceberg of thought, research, and careful preparation. Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question. It's time to turn this whole idea around and look at our own creative work. So here's the bottom line. That little 10% of typing only has power and precision because of the massive 90% of patient preparation that came before it. It's simple, really. You can't have the flower without the roots. If you rush the 90%, your final 10% is pretty much meaningless. And that brings us right back to where we started. But now we see it totally differently, don't we? This image isn't just a typewriter and an hourglass. It's a philosophy. It shows that great work is grown with patience, not just forced out with speed. And so I'll leave you with this one question to think about. It doesn't matter if you're a writer, a designer, an engineer, or anything else. What does your 90% look like? Are you giving yourself the time to wait, to prepare, and to build that solid foundation that makes your final work truly powerful?